The Boy with the Red Kite. It began as a gust of wind, a single playful draft sweeping across the rooftops of Beit Hanun, stirring the dust, sending a flock of birds into the hot Gaza sky. And with it, a red kite rose, handmade, fragile, its fabric patched from a grandmother's old scarf, its frame no more than twigs and thread. A boy's small hands held the string, his laughter mixing with the wind. His name was Adam. He was 9 years old. The kite was not meant to be a statement. It was not rebellion or resistance. It was freedom. In a place where walls and watchtowers carved the sky into sections, Adam's kite defied the boundaries. It flew. But on that day, the Israeli Prime Minister's convoy was passing near the separation wall. An unusual route, detoured for reasons unknown. Black SUVs, armored and mirrored, crawling through the dust-choked road just outside Beit Hanun. Satellite surveillance overhead. Snipers in every direction. Someone saw the red kite, and someone reported it. Unidentified aerial object. Came the radio chatter. Could be a signal. Could be a drone disguise. And finally, in a voice calm and direct, neutralize the source. BN authorizes. Within minutes, boots entered the neighborhood. The children scattered like sparrows. Adam, confused, still holding the spool, felt the kite tug once before it was sliced from the sky. Then arms grabbed him. A sack was pulled over his head. His mother screamed, and he was gone. The initial report listed the incident as a security inspection. The family was told nothing. The Red Crescent was denied access. The boy's name appeared on no list. For 7 years, his parents searched. For 7 years, they aged in limbo. They printed posters. They knocked on the doors of aid organizations. Some days, they traveled to checkpoints, holding up Adam's photograph to indifferent soldiers. Other days, they stayed in bed. The file was closed as an administrative detainment. But there was no record, no trial, no body. In 2031, a human rights lawyer named Dalia Mahfouz, born in Haifa and trained in Amsterdam, was conducting an independent review of Israeli military detention protocols for minors. She had heard whispers of the kite boy in old testimonies and sought to verify if such a child had ever existed. One document, unclassified by accident, provided the first break. It was a low-resolution scan of a field report. Subject neutralized per directive. BN authorized. Marked as distraction risk. Nothing else. Dalia filed dozens of requests, interviewed retired officers, and slowly pieced together fragments. A boy held at Facility 13, never logged. A psychologist brought in, experimental protocols. Silence. She filed a motion with the European Court of Human Rights. She brought the case to The Hague. Journalists started asking questions. And then, Dalia vanished. Her apartment was found ransacked, her laptop missing. CCTV from her neighborhood was inexplicably erased. The only clue left behind was a USB drive mailed anonymously to Al Jazeera International. The contents: audio files, heavily redacted documents, and a recording labeled simply Red Kite Protocol, Session 4. In it, a child's voice, barely audible, can be heard answering questions. Do you know what a signal is? No. Was someone watching you? Only the birds. The voice was Adam's. The file exploded across the internet. Protests erupted across the globe. Red Kite trended for weeks. Artists painted murals. School children flew red kites in silent tribute. Governments demanded answers. The Israeli Defense Ministry denied the authenticity. Netanyahu's office issued a single sentence. This is an attack on national integrity, built on fiction. But in Ramallah, Adam's mother kept vigil, and in Beit Hanun, red kites became forbidden. In late 2032, an independent tribunal organized by the Council for Ethical Governance began reviewing the Red Kite files in connection with other whistleblower reports, including elements of the caretaker tapes. Dalia's work was revealed to intersect with broader investigations into illegal detentions, psychological manipulation of minors, and test programs for compliance conditioning. Evidence emerged of a covert program titled Signal Disruption Initiative, greenlit by high-level officials, designed to preemptively detain and psychologically neutralize individuals deemed symbolic risks, even children. One memo, chilling in its simplicity, read, "Prevention is optics. Symbol management begins at perception level." In another, "A child's innocence is more dangerous than any weapon." Adam's name, once vanished, now echoed in UN chambers, classrooms, courtroom hearings. And yet, the boy himself was never found. In 2034, a journalist embedded with Bedouin smugglers in the Negev desert claimed to have encountered a mute teenager with a red string tied around his wrist. He did not speak, but he built kites. Dozens of them. Red, blue, green, flying shapes that dotted the horizon. DNA was never confirmed. Some say it was Adam. Others believe it was another lost child, one of many swept into the machine of silence. What mattered was this: the story could no longer be untold. Governments fell. Investigations bloomed. Testimonies crossed languages. And children, from Lebanon to Lesotho, began flying red kites as resistance, not with anger, but with the quiet insistence of memory. Because some symbols do not need to shout, they just need to rise. Epilogue: The Sky Above Borders. In 2040, a monument was unveiled in Geneva. It was a sculpture, a red kite caught mid-flight, its string anchored to the ground by a small bronze hand. On the pedestal were no names, only an inscription. For every child disappeared without a reason. Nearby, a small plaque read, "Inspired by the boy with the red kite. May his silence speak forever." And in the skies above Gaza, red kites continued to fly. Reminders that even in surveillance, even in silence, even in disappearance, the wind remembers. And the wind never forgets. Addendum: Classified Debrief Report, 2041. In a recently leaked intelligence briefing, buried within a trove of documents intercepted by an anonymous whistleblower, a reference was found to an internal crisis assessment within the Israeli intelligence community. The subject: symbolic uprisings and narrative contagion. The report highlighted a disturbing trend: the growing global influence of symbols rooted in small acts of innocence, specifically the kite. The red kite phenomenon is no longer containable. The document read, "It has transcended geography, language, and political affiliations." Further down, another chilling line: "Narrative control compromised. Recalibrate youth engagement models." The name Adam appeared again, under a heading marked, "Loss Factors, Mythic Anchors." Epilogue 2. The Boy Returns? In 2043, a grainy video surfaced online. Shot on a smuggled phone near Rafah, it showed a teenager walking barefoot, trailing a spool of red string. Behind him, a kite danced in the wind. His face was never seen. The video lasted 12 seconds before it cut to black. It was viewed over 600 million times in the first week. Comment sections filled with speculation. Parents claimed to recognize the walk. Children said they dreamed of him. Artists turned the clip into paintings. Poets wrote of the boy with no voice and the sky that spoke for him. Governments called it a deepfake. But in Gaza, red kites returned to the skies in defiant flocks. And Adam, real or myth, became a symbol too large to cage. The wind, they said, had chosen a messenger, and it would never let him fall again.